What's up, everyone? Daniel Armstrong coming at you again with another video from the A-Tech Racing Performance Shop. On today's video, I got a 2005 Honda CBR600RR. This bike came in with a cold crank, no start issue, and we're going to basically do a little diagnostic run through and see if we get this guy started. If you're new to the channel, please like, subscribe, hit the bell icon for notifications, and leave me a comment. Let me know what kind of bike you got. Let me know how I can help. Alright, everyone. You guys get into the video? I'm gonna get into this bike. First up, we got a video that the customer sent over to me just to show me what problems he was having before he brought the bike over. And as you can see, it was just basically cranking and not even trying to start. Moving forward, at this point, I've already been inside the bike. I've checked the spark, I've checked the spark plugs, and I've checked compression on all the cylinders, and we're good there. We have another gas tank right here, and the reason for that is this was coming out of the original gas tank from the owner. This is a video he sent me. He got the bike running shortly, and then got into the fuel pump himself and found this. So what I did is I went in, I pulled out the fuel rail just to see what we got in there, and of course we have some rust or dust or particles of something, and it's through the entire fuel system. So I cleaned all this out along with the injectors and replaced the lower main injectors as well. After that, I was able to get the bike to start, but only using contact cleaner and at a very weak idle. Since this is the symptom I was seeing, the next thing I wanted to do was check to make sure that the fuel pump itself was making correct or adequate pressure. We were looking for 50 psi. And as you can see, unfortunately with this bike, even with cranking it over, we're getting just over 10 psi. So this is a bad fuel pump. Moving forward, the next thing we got to do is get this fuel tank removed. That way we can get the fuel pump taken out and we can start to rebuild that. You're going to want to remove the vent lines, the pressurized fuel line, and don't forget the electrical connector as well. I'm using a 5-gallon bucket just so I can catch all the fuel that's going to be dumping out of this thing. As you can see, it's already leaking out. What I'm going to do is remove 5 of these 6 hex nuts just so we can drain the fuel tank just like this. You might need some rags or maybe another bucket like I did just to catch anything that might be spilling. But go ahead and let the fuel tank drain out. Then we're going to go in and remove it. Now that I got that fuel pump removed, I just have it set aside in the bucket that I used to catch the excess fuel from earlier. But to show you guys that this is oriented correctly how it comes out, you have your fuel level float. That's going to be the last thing that comes out of the tank. So just so you guys know, when you're pulling this thing out, be careful. Now we got it on the bench, we can get a better look at it. This is the pump that we're going to be rebuilding. It's a little corroded, but it's okay. I've seen a lot worse. The kit that we got is from Quantum Fuel Systems. I honestly love these guys. It's a lot cheaper than having to go a full OEM route. And I've used these in a few different bikes and actually had great luck with them. So for anyone out there that needs to rebuild a fuel pump, doesn't want to spend over $500 for a new OEM one, just pick up one of these kits, check them out online, highly recommend them. They'll get you back up and going. Alright, let's start taking this apart. We're going to be using a small flat tip screwdriver. We're going to carefully disconnect these plastic clips, that way we can remove the fuel regulator. We're also going to be using a Phillips head screwdriver to remove these contact points. So let's go ahead and start doing that now. Alright, we already got both of these terminals disconnected. We disconnected this hose right here, and we're able to use that little flathead screwdriver to remove this little plastic bracket that was covering our fuel pressure regulator. We got a couple 7mm hexes down here that we're going to have to remove, and using a Phillips head screwdriver, we're going to remove the top of the sensor as well. Once you got those 2 hex nuts pulled, you can put them aside along with the sensor at the very top. You should have access to your regulator at this point. It should be loose, but you'll probably need 2 hands just to pull it out. The O-ring that holds that in there does give it a good solid snug fit. I'm going to go ahead and pull this out now. Once you have the regulator removed and put aside, you can just pull up on the entire pump assembly and it'll separate from the lower housing. This is what you're going to be left with. Now you can see there was even some corrosion and rust in the bottom of this tank as well. Just something to be expected when you got bikes that are over 20 years old. But moving forward, what we're going to do is get this pump taken apart and get the new parts put inside. Here's the old seal, and here's some corrosion that was sitting at the very bottom of the fuel pump housing plate. Here's another look of the upper portion of the fuel pump. So what we're going to do with this is just disconnect those wires, and this guy will just pull right down and separate. It's just sitting in there into an O-ring. So to clean out the bottom of the fuel pump housing, I'm using some WD-40, some brake cleaner, and a nylon bristle brush just to help knock all that out. This was the result after I got done using it. It's not perfect, but it's a heck of a lot better than what it was. Moving forward, I'm going to set that guy aside and we're going to go ahead and grab our pump. This is the old one. You can see there was a lot of rust sitting on the bottom of that filter. We're done with it. We're going to put it aside. This is the new one. We got a new filter put on. And what we're going to do is actually reuse the old wiring. Rather than have to go through and try to wiring new stuff, let's just use what was already working. Another thing too, we got to make sure that we replace all of the seals inside of the pump housing itself. Once you do that, you can go ahead and slide in and install your pump. Don't forget that you got an O-ring on the pump housing. Let's not forget to replace the main seal as well. Now we got that all put back together. I got the pump installed. It's not wired in yet. We still got to do our lower connector. But let's go ahead and install a new pressure regulator as well. We got a new O-ring, it's lubed up. Let's go ahead and slap it into its spot. Now that I got that installed, we got to go back to our old regulator and remove this plastic clip. Once I got that installed, we got the clip that holds the regulator on in place as well. We're going to go ahead and attach our wires. Everything's connected and torqued. At this point, we're ready to install this back into the fuel tank. Let's go ahead and go do that. Now, when you're going to go install this, you want to orient it right. You're going to want the float to go in first. This is going to be for your fuel level. Might need to maneuver it, use both hands to get the wires tucked in there. But once you do that, you want to make sure that the portion that the fuel tank or the fuel rail is going to hook up to is at the highest spot or closer to the front of the bike. Otherwise, it's probably not going to fit properly. Now that I got this all installed, it's ready to go back onto the bike, but before I do that, I want to test to make sure that this new pump is making proper pressure. So let's hook up our gauge again. We got fuel inside the tank. Let's go ahead and test this out and see what we get now. Again, earlier we had about 10 PSI and about 15 PSI when cranking. The spec that we're looking for is 50 PSI. How awesome. We got pressure again, and now the bike is also running. Moving forward, I remove the fuel pressure tester and get the bike put back together the way it's supposed to be. Let's go ahead and do another test to make sure this thing's going to be ready to go. Music to my ears. I do hope this helps somebody out there. Until next time, stay safe out there, everyone.